Test, 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 test.
Opposite direction, moving them to the right side, to the left side. Look for space between the right ribs. And then slowly come back to middle. Let's take a few more breaths here. Remember, you can always come back to this pose during class. And then slowly come up to a tabletop position. And move through a couple of cat-cows. Inhaling into hollow cow. Exhaling into a round cat. Next time you're in cat pose, you hold your cat, pressing down into the palms, pressing the point between your shoulder blades up. And then from here, tuck your toes and lift your knees just a centimeter or two above the ground, activating the core. And release the knees back down. Turn your hands around so the palms are down, the fingers pointing back, going for an intense wrist stretch. You can slowly lean a little bit back here. Maybe sway from front to back slowly, feeling that stretch in the wrists. And then release and come up to a downward facing dog. Take your time and walk your dog. Bend your knees, look towards the hands, and then walk to the front of your mat and lock your elbows in. Relax head and neck. Change the position on your arms. And then release your arms. And now we're going to very slowly roll ourselves up. Keep your knees a little bit bent. Let the arms hang as dead weight, and then vertebra per vertebra, we come all the way up to standing. The neck rolls out, the latest as last. And once we're standing up, we're gonna lock our hands behind our back. You can bring the feet a little bit wider than the hips here, having a firm stance. Activate both bandhas, so the pelvic floor, the lower abdominals, trying to shorten the distance between the pelvic bone and the belly button. And then from there, you first open up your chin. See if you want to close your eyes, and then maybe lift the hands a bit away from the hips. And as you're breathing in, expand your ribs in the front and in the chest. And release your hands and bring them together above the head. Turn the palms out. Now lean towards the right, looking underneath the left arm. So this might be a small lean. Make sure you keep equal pressure in both feet, especially the left one. Come back to middle, opposite side. A strengthening position. Come back to middle, deep breath in, release your hands. And on the exhale, we're gonna slowly move all the way down towards a fold. Next time you breathe in, you lift the chest halfway and then bring your hands in the hips, elbows moving towards each other. See if you want to keep a little bit of a bend in the knees here. Deep breaths, and as you breathe, you lengthen between tailbone and crown. And exhale, we release to a high plank. Now we're moving in this class in a very slow way, yet activating more muscles in our tissue because we are moving slowly. So we're gonna move in an eccentric way down to the mat. We're gonna do this the first time with the knees down. So bring the feet flat, and we're gonna go down in 2 breaths. So deep breath in, slowly exhale to halfway. There you breathe in again, and exhale all the way down. Baby cobra, we lift. Hold here, and we breathe out. Elbows reaching towards each other, shoulders rolling back away from the ears. And then push back to a downward facing dog. We're gonna hold our dog for a couple of breaths and just notice the sensations in the physical as we're moving so slow, and also in the mental. There's maybe more time to think, maybe more time to sigh or see what comes up for you. Now we're moving in a more conscious way. From our down dog, bring your right leg up. Deep breath here. And then step the foot a bit closer towards the hands, just a baby step as you exhale. Now bring the left leg up. Deep breath in. And again, step it closer towards the hands. It's okay if you keep your knees bent here as the feet approach the hands. Right leg up and step it back down. Keep moving in this way until you're all the way towards the front of the mat. See if you want to lift high onto the fingertips as you approach your hands. Until you are all the way at the front of your mat, and then you again lift halfway and bring the hands in the hips, elbows reaching back and towards each other. Deep breaths. Keeping your hands in the hips, come all the way up. Open up the chest. Maybe you want to lean back here for a second. And then exhale back to middle. Take a big step with your right foot back. Turn your feet so the feet are parallel towards each other. Hands in the hips or hands locked behind your back. And then opening up, inhale. So hands in hips or locked. And then as you exhale, we again go halfway. See if you want to keep your knees a little bit bent. If you hyperextend your knees, you can always keep them a bit bent here. One more breath. Come sit on the front heel as you breathe out. Allow your back foot to turn up. So the back toes are pointing up. And then we're going to move the left hand down a little bit behind us. So yeah, the front foot. Yeah. All right. And then move the right arm overhead. So for a healthy spine, we need forward movement, back bends, and lateral movements, meaning we move from the sides. Now from here, we're going to move to the opposite foot. So deep breath in. And then like a little spider or Spider-Man up, you move to the back foot. The front foot turns up. Move your hand on the outside of the leg and then reach on the left side. One more breath. And then come sitting down. Move both legs to the front. Bring the arms up, deep breath in. And fold towards 45 degrees as you breathe out. Keep the knees straight, feet flex, tall spine. See if you want to move into cactus arms. Deep breath in. And breathing out, you fold and we hold for a couple of breaths. Inhale, lift. And exhale, we release. Bring your hands next to the upper legs. And now push the hips forward. Open up to a reversed tabletop. If you want to add to the intensity of the position, you straighten out the left leg. Actively ground and push into the right foot. And if you want, you can switch legs. One more breath. And then lower the hips and walk your hands towards the feet. Open up your feet a little bit to come to Malasana, the yoga squat, adding to the strength in the upper back. Elbows in between the knees, and then draw your hands towards your heart. So the hands move down, the crown moves up, and the chest moves forward. If you want to add to the exercise, you can also lift onto the tippy toes. Last breath. And breathing out, we step back into a high plank. High plank, eccentric down. So 2 breaths. Deep breaths in. And then start lowering down, breathing out. Breathe in. And all the way down and out. Big cobra now. Deep breath in. Shoulders down, chest out. Hold here, breathing out. And then slowly release and go to downward facing dog. 3 plank waves from here, again slowly. Moving into a cat back, rounding until we're in our high plank. From there, pressing the butt out with a cow back to down dog. 2 more. You can really exaggerate the curl in the spine in our cat and the hollowness in the spine when we are in cow pose. Bring your right leg up, deep breath in, and step the foot forward, breathing out. Let's take a moment here in a low lunge, so you can bring the arms up. Inhale. And exhale, release the hands back down. Walk your foot to the outside of the mat, so the right side. Let's hold with the hands down for a couple of breaths before we open up in a slight twist in the spine. The third movement, the third direction of the spine. Twisting. All right, so we're going to bring that right hand on top of that right knee, and then gently, first open up your chest towards the right side, and then gently press the knee away. You can allow the foot to open up to its side. Yeah. Having a bit of a hip opener and a twist in the lower back. One more breath. And breathing out, we release and bring the right leg back, move the hands underneath the shoulders, and then bend your knee. Try keeping that right hip more or less parallel to the left hip so we're not opening up. We're having our hips closed. Deep breath. And breathing out, you tuck your toes and you lift the right leg all the way up. Deep breath here. And release to downward dog as you breathe out. See if you want to walk your hands back towards the front. Lengthen your spine. Last breath. And then bring that left leg up and step your foot in between your hands for low lunge on the opposite side. Take a moment, find your balance. And exhale, release the hands down. Left foot towards the left side of the mat. Couple of breaths, giving the hips some time to adjust. Have your fingers well spread. And if you're feeling any kind of pain, hip, release the hips a little bit back. Better? Yeah. And otherwise, release it all together. You can bring the foot back to the inside. Yeah. And then see if it feels comfortable to bring that left hand on top of the left knee, opening up the chest. You can hold here, or if it feels okay, you can allow the knee to open up, the knee and the foot. And then slowly we release back. And then walk your hands underneath the shoulders and swing that left leg back, bending the knee, activating the lower back. A good trick to see if the hips are closed is straightening the foot and then having the pinky toe point down. And from there, trying to keep the hip immobilized. Yeah, very good. And then to your own time, we lift up to a three-legged dog. Pressing firmly into the hands, lifting the heel as high as possible. Last breath. And breathing out, you release the leg down and walk yourself back to a high plank. Last eccentric, deep breath in. And in one very slow exhale, we move all the way down. Bring your chin down onto the mat. We come to a locust pose. I'm going to move this a little bit up. We're going to bring our hands to the side, the palms facing down. And then from here, you try to lift the legs up. Yeah, see if you can keep the chin down. Push actively into the pelvic bone. One more breath. And then lower the legs and now lift your chest. See if you want to walk the hands a little bit backwards. Lift as high as feels comfortable, and you can keep looking down to keep the back of the neck opened up. Locust pose variation. See if you want to lift one leg. Keep breathing deeply, hugging the mat with the abdominals and the lowest ribs. And then switch legs. One more breath. And then come to child's pose. Counter stretch, couple of breaths. And then for the next part, we're going to come down into a twist. So you can slowly come up out of your child's pose. And I'm going to show what we're going to do. I don't think we have done this posing class before. So we're going to come sit on our left hip. Yeah, so the left hip. Try bringing more or less 90 degrees in the left leg. All right. And then try bringing that right knee back. So the upper leg of the right leg is more or less parallel to the shin bone. All right, so this feels quite intense, but we're gonna come down now, come down onto our forearms. We're feeling that twist in the spine and perhaps a stretch on the right side. If it would be too much, you can always bring that back knee a little bit back up. All right, and if you feel really comfortable, you can come all the way down, widen the elbows, And bring your forehead down to the mat or to your hands. So the name of this position is the downward facing twist. And we're going to hold this twist for a couple of breaths. So for a spine to be healthy, we need it to bend forward, bend backwards, move laterally to the sides, left and right, and also to twist. I'm gonna hold for 2 more breaths. And then slowly you can walk yourself back up to seated. Come down onto your knees, tuck your toes, and then press the palms out, pushing the ribs forward, hollowing the back. And then release, and we go to the opposite twist. So come seated on your right hip. Try bringing 90 degrees in the knee, and then 90 degrees in the back leg. And then come down into your twist. Take your time, using every breath to deepen the pose or to hold, but never to force. And if you feel comfortable, you can come all the way down. Observe where your mind is at. And think back to your intention. What area of your life could use some slowing down or more conscious awareness? Give yourself permission to do this. It's the only permission that matters. A couple of more breaths. And then slowly come out of your twist. Bring the legs up front and come down onto your back, making a little ball. Try keeping the knees close into your chest and then sway from side to side, so we massage mostly the middle and the upper part of our back. And then bring your feet flat down onto the mat. The heels are relatively close to the butt cheeks, and we have our feet wide. Now, first, we keep our hands down and we lift the hips up to a bridge pose. Then come onto the tippy toes. See if you want to lengthen the back of the head and the neck. Activate the bandhas, Uddiyana Bandha, Muladhara Bandha, the pelvic floor and the lower abs. And then we bring the arm so the fingers are pointing straight up. The fingers are spreading, the palms are facing each other. And see if you want to imagine, if you're a visual person, that there's a ball of light between the hands. Maybe it starts small, like a marble. Maybe it can grow to a tennis ball, a melon, a basketball. See what size goes easily, what size is a bit more difficult. Noticing, not labeling good or bad. Keeping in your bridge pose, you now bring that ball of light slowly with the hands on top of the chest, maybe one on the chest and one on the belly. Last breath here. And then slowly lower your hips down, bring the arms to the side, and we come to either halasana or the legs straight up. So option number one is having the legs straight up. You can always bring the hands underneath the hips, or come to the plow pose, keeping the hands next to the body, the palms down, and then activate the core, press into the hands, and then bring the legs overhead to behind your head. If you can go there, you bring the hands in the lower back for support. Keep your head and your neck completely still, looking up. The feet can be touching if it's possible for you, behind you, but it's not necessary. You can bend your knees. And if you want to, and this is accessible, you can bring the legs more into a shoulder stand. So definitely supporting the hips and the lower back with your hands. Maybe you're keeping the knees bent first, activating the core, lifting the legs. And then slowly, if you are in shoulder stand or in plow pose, we come back down. Use the strength in the hands, bringing the hands on the mat to lower your hips. And then hug the right knee into your chest and lower the left leg down. So lock your hands around your right knee. And then bring the chin or the forehead towards the knee. And then switch legs. And then hug both knees, relax the head down, and make circles with your knees. Go in both directions. And then see if there is any other movement you would still like to do before Shavasana. And then move into your Shavasana. See if you want to put on some extra clothes. Check in with the hips, shoulders. Unclench your jaw, keep some distance between the teeth. Maybe you even want to have your mouth a little bit opened up. And surrender. Your body. Start making movements, the fingers, toes, moving on to bigger movements, stretching, and then roll onto the right side to your own time. Come back to your intention and pick a moment today and tomorrow that you will consciously connect with this idea and the feeling of this idea. Then when you're ready, you can come back up to a seated position. In seated, bring one hand to the heart and one on top of the belly. We have relaxed skin on the forehead, relaxed jaw, and in this moment we are saying to ourselves, I honor my tempo. I honor the adjustment that I need to make. I honor my intention. We take 3 deep breaths in through our nose and softly out through our mouth. Deep breath in. Inhale. Inhale. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.